Why would a man who decided to get married so that he will have the license to actually have sex as much as he wants deny his wife sex? Is that possible? Why? The thing I'm going to be talking about are things that I've actually asked some men, and they've answered me, giving me this reply: why men reject sex. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, my name is Precious. On this channel, I help you understand that family and relationship is a work in progress through my videos. Today's video is actually a very much requested video, and someone actually messaged me to say I should talk about why men, especially married men, reject sex from their wives. And when I saw that message, I was like, is that possible? Because I know that when it comes to sex, right? You all know me that I like talking about sex. It's something that I enjoy talking about. But when it comes to sex, most men love sex. Like, sex is like food to most men. And I'm thinking, why would a man who decided to get married so that he will have the license to actually have sex as much as he wants deny his wife sex? Is that possible? Why? And I came to the realization that it might be that this person who messaged me might just want to know what to do, and I decided I'm going to be making this video. When it comes to sex, that's one area you don't want to be rejected, because for you to make that move, you want to have sex with someone and it's just a big thing for you, and you decide to do it and the person rejects you, it's not a nice feeling at all. So I'm going to be talking about the reasons why men actually don't want to have sex with their wives. It's not the normal thing, it's not a norm, but I think people go through this as well. The thing I'm going to be talking about are things that I've actually asked some men, and they've answered me, giving me this reply: why men reject sex. And I've also read about it. These are a combination of people's responses and what I have discovered myself. Without further ado, let's get talking. The first reason why I personally think that a man would reject sex or avoid having sex with his wife is other things has taken priority. Yes, other things has taken priority. Now, as a woman, what are the things that you think that has taken priority? Think about it from the first time you guys met. How often did you have sex? If you were someone that in your relationship you've always had sex, like let's say in a week 3-4 times a week, and all of a sudden in a week you can barely have sex once, then it may be that your husband or your partner has taken priority of that time. One of the things that you may want to think about is there something that is bothering him? Is there somebody he's seeing? That time, that space in his life, that part of his heart, what has occupied it? It's your responsibility as a wife to find out what has taken that space. If you don't find that, you will not be able to solve the problem. One of the ways people solve problem, even in medicine, is when there's a diagnosis, they'll be able to know how you're going to be able to treat that diagnosis. If you don't find out what exactly has occupied your spouse's mind, what exactly has taken priority of his heart, then you may not be able to solve that problem. So first thing first, something has taken priority. It's obvious. Something is something. There's something, but we need to find what that something is. So it's in your hand to find what that thing is. Another thing as well that could make a man reject his wife, or could make a man avoid having sex with his wife or his partner, is when he's having health issues. You and I know that when it comes to health, men actually find it very difficult to discuss their health problem. And especially when it comes to health issues that has to do with their intimate life, it has to do with their private parts, it's very personal to them. In fact, that's one of the areas that men show off their strength, their ego, and all of that. So when a man starts having medical condition or medical problem that is beginning to affect his performance in the bedroom, and he's not very comfortable to share it with his wife, then he may start to reject or avoid sex or having sex with you. You may want to say to me, why will a man not tell his wife when he's having a medical condition, when he's having issues that are affecting him down there? That is a topic for another day. But in the context of this video, it may just be that he's going through some medical condition, or he's going through some health challenges that is not allowing him to actually perform the way he's supposed to perform, but he cannot share it with you. What are you going to do? We're going to talk about it at the end of this video, how you can be able to solve this problem of your husband or your spouse rejecting, avoiding to have sex with you. Another thing as well that can actually make your partner either stop or avoid having sex with you. Now, when it comes to this video, I'm not saying that the person, or me personally, I'm not saying that the man might just completely stop having sex with you. It might just be that the time in which, or the number of times in which he has sex with you has reduced so much that it's beginning to affect your relationship. So that's where the context we're talking about, not just completely avoiding sex. Now, another reason why a man may avoid having sex with his spouse is over familiarity. That's that thing that Nigerian people say, see finish. When you get to a point in your relationship where you're too familiar with yourselves, like you know how it's going to happen. You wake up in the morning, you dress, so you have a shower, you bathe, you go to work, you come back, you eat. It's like you have that routine where there is nothing spontaneous happening again. Routine is a good thing, but when it comes to marriage, routine is not very good, because what happens is that you all have that pattern, how it happens, this goes there, everything is in a particular way. So there's no spontaneity in your marriage, there's no spark, there's no fire. You will literally have to go out of your way to bring the fire back. So when it comes to being in a relationship, especially a relationship that you guys have been together for a long time, but that does not mean that younger relationship cannot be affected by this. Over familiarity is something that kills sex. Over familiarity is one thing that kills, makes the man does not want to even think about having sex with you, because he has seen you. You are seeing your everything. There's nothing that arouses him. There's nothing that makes him want to have sex with you. You're just there, like mother of the children, or cooking for me, or making sure the house is clean. But when it comes to the intimate aspect of it, the romantic side of things, you're not gelling anymore. So over familiarity is one thing that can actually make your spouse reject having sex with you or avoid having sex with you. Another thing as well, which I think when I saw this reason, I was like, wow, how is that possible? Is a man who is shy of initiating sex. Yes, you may want to ask me, a man shy of initiating sex? Yes, there are so many men out there who are very shy to initiate sex. So if you know that your spouse is that kind of person, come on, girl, like be in charge. Be in charge of initiating sex. It may not necessarily be only when you want to have sex, right? It should just be like the time you feel like, okay, I think my husband would enjoy it when I request for sex. And another thing you need to bear in mind as a woman is that when you ask for sex from a man, it makes him feel powerful. He feels like, oh my God, this woman is coming to ask me for sex. Oh my God, she knows that I'm going to look after her. I'm going to take care of her. I'm going to satisfy her in bed. That's why she's asking me for sex. So if you're one of those women that you don't ask or initiate sex, you're missing out on a lot of good things. Don't ask me what the good things are, but trust me, you're missing out on it. So if your spouse is very shy to initiate sex, be in charge. Okay, let that be an area where you're in charge, which is a very good area as well. Another thing which I've personally found out that makes men to avoid sex or not want to have sex is when they are stressed out. Even we as women as well. If you're stressed out, the last thing that you want to think about is sex. It's not even on your mind, because you have a lot of things you're thinking about. You have a lot of things in your mind. Sex is very enjoyable when you're in the present, when you're there, and your mind is there, your everything is there, not just your physical body, but your mind is there. If your mind is not there, you're not present when you're having sex. That's that time that you're having sex. Sometimes you're very wet, sometimes you're very dry, sometimes you're very wet, sometimes you're very dry, or the man may not be able to even have an erection because his mind is not even there. So stress is an area. It's one, in fact, it's not an area, it's a very, very big factor when it comes to a man rejecting sex or avoiding to have sex. So you may want to think about that. So if you know that your husband or your spouse is actually carrying a lot of burden, because one of it is the household burden, financial burden, burdens from families, burdens from places of work. If you know that your husband or your spouse has a lot going on, you may want to be that place where he can come and relax. He can come and chill. He can come and offload the burdens, the things that he's going through. So at that point, always, anyway, I'm going to talk about what you're going to be doing later, which is going to be a summary of what you need to do in terms of these things I'm listing out. Another thing as well that could make a man avoid sex is when he feels that he doesn't feel wanted. There are some times that men feel like, you know what, she just doesn't want me anyway. She just thinks I'm just there. I'm just an object. When a man doesn't feel wanted, when a man doesn't feel that you really want him, he's not going to come for you. It's as simple as that. Don't forget that there are so many people out there, there are so many women out there that want him. By the time he leaves the house, on his way to work, there's so many things attractive. There's so many women even more beautiful than you are. But the thing is that if you decide to not make him feel wanted, and people out there makes him feel wanted, you know what the thing is, well, how it's going to end. So I don't need to say that. So always make your man feel wanted. That's one way that he's not going to reject having sex with you or avoid having sex with you. Another reason why men avoid having sex with you, this reason I'm going to dwell on it a little bit, is when you as a woman don't feel attractive anymore. Now let me say something. The fact that you're married, the fact that you have 1, 2, 3, 4 kids does not mean that your standard should drop to the point where your husband begins to ask himself, where did I get this woman from? How did she get to this point? Now listen, it's okay to reduce the standard a little bit, because obviously you have a lot of responsibilities now. But don't reduce your standard to the point that you become unattractive to your spouse. Some women, I don't want to sound too hard on women, because I know how difficult it is to combine being a wife, being a mother, having a career, and all of that. It's quite difficult. But don't lose yourself, right? Do not lose yourself. If your husband can still find time to look after himself, dress well, have everything to match, his shoe, his trousers, his belt, everything is on point. He has time to go cut his hair to the way he wants it to be. He has time to dress up, as in make sure he's well moisturized, put on his cologne and all of that. Then I don't know why you should be the person that you can't find time for yourself. You need to find time for yourself. Look attractive for yourself. I'm always advocating for women to look after themselves. Your physical and your mental health, you are responsible for that. You are responsible for how you look. I'm so grateful to God that most women now are actually trying to look amazing. There are some women you see on the road, they have 3, 4 kids. You won't even know they have 3, 4 kids, because they are so on point. They are so looking after themselves. So if you're out there and your husband or your spouse is not finding you attractive, you may want to up your game. You may want to start doing something else. What do you wear when you go to bed? How do you sleep? What do you do when you, in the morning, when you wake up, have a shower? What kind of clothes do you wear? How do you dress to go out? How do you talk on the phone? How do you behave? What are the things that you do? What are the things that you used to do before that when he saw you, he was like, oh my God, this woman, I'm so in love with her, that now you have stopped it because you have children, because you're not the mother of the house. You may want to think about it again, because those things might just be things that makes you unattractive. You may think, oh God, you know what, I'm sacrificing. I'm sacrificing for this home. I'm working. I'm taking care of the children. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. You're sacrificing. Yes, you are sacrificing. But you know what? At the end of the day, you're sacrificing, but you're losing your husband. You're sacrificing. You're not attractive anymore. You're sacrificing. Even the sacrificing you're doing, you're losing your children. You're losing all around. So what's the point? Calm down. Take it slow and look after yourself. I think I've talked enough on this topic, but that's one thing that makes men avoid sex with their spouse, when they don't find them attractive anymore. Another one that makes men avoid sex, this is something that I would like you to actually understand and listen to is when you spend so much time on social media. Now, let me say something. There are times that I have been guilty of this, so I'm going to raise my hand up, and because I know that no one is perfect, is the fact that when you've been busy all day, from morning to the evening, you've been busy all day, and time for you to go to bed. I know you're going to say, oh, that's the only time I need to check up on my Facebook, my Instagram, and all of that. But that's the time your husband is actually in bed with you. That's the time you can chat. That's the time you can say whatever you want to say to your spouse. But all of a sudden, as soon as you get into bed, he's already there waiting for you. Get your phone out. You can be on that social media for 1 hour, 2 hours, and by the time you turn, he's asleep. And you're doing it every day. If you know you're guilty of this, please stop it, because I think that our husbands should be priority. In fact, one of the things I'm going to advise you guys is the fact that when you're on the phone and your husband comes into the house, let's say your husband is at work and you're at home and you've been on the phone, or you're on the phone, your husband comes back from work, put the phone off. When you're in the bed, if I make it a point of duty that as soon as you're getting into bed, especially your husband is there waiting for you, or even if he's not there waiting for you, you're getting into bed, let's say he's there waiting for you, get into bed, you have to keep your phone in one corner, right? Even put it on silent so that the pim or the noise or the notification is not going to get your attention. Or if you're on the bed already and you're just maybe going through your phone, as soon as he comes in and lay down there, you need to put your phone down. Yes, put your phone down. It's very, very important. I'm saying it again. Put your phone down, because men can be very, they can just get pissed off like easily. So what's the point having your phone on all the time? He's on the bed there waiting for you. The next minute now you say, oh, he has slept. As soon as he did this, he has slept. Why would he not sleep when you're on the phone, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, from one person's page to another person's page? Make your husband your priority. Make your spouse the number one in your life and in your home. So another reason as well that might actually affect a man or make him not to want to have sex with you is when a man has a low sex drive. Yes, this is real. It is very real. There are some people that have very high sex drive. There's some people that have I would say, average sex drive. And there's some people that have very low sex drive. That doesn't mean that they don't want to have sex. But it's just like someone who eats food. Some people eat very large portions. Some people eat very tiny portions. Some people eat very medium portion. Know how the sex drive of your husband is. If he's someone his sex drive is not very high, it's just very low, then know that that's who he is. If you want to maybe help him do things that will make him to increase his libido, you can go ahead and do that. But you need to understand how high or low or average the sex drive of your spouse is. Another thing, which is a big one that actually makes a man to not to have sex or to avoid sex with you, is when you start becoming a mom, right? See, many women can do this thing. Women, we know we can do this thing whereby we just start behaving like a mother. You're not your husband's mother. Don't even go there. You're his wife. You are what? His wife. I don't understand why you get married and all of a sudden you start behaving like mother. You will start acting as if you're his mother. Do this, don't do this. You know, baby, it's not like that. No, don't do it like that now. Yeah, you should have done it like this. Hey, you know the way you behave to your 2 or 3 year old. Don't do it. It's not good. Why did you do that? It's not fair. All of that to a grown man. A grown man. You want to be a mother, right? You're going to be a mother, and what the part of the consequence of becoming a mother is the fact that he's not going to have sex with you, because he can't be having sex with his mother. He can't have sex with his mother. So if you want to be his wife, be his wife. If you want to be his mother, then know that you're not going to have sex. So avoid this whole thing of trying to become a mother. You're not his mother. Now that I've listed all these things that has to do with the reasons why a man can actually avoid or not want to have sex with you, now what can you do? The first thing you want to do is you want to discover exactly what the problem is. I've listed a few things. There are so many other things that if you're watching this video and you think I've not listed some things or I've not said some things, please put it down on the comment section why some men can actually avoid having sex with their wife. But you want to first of all know what the problem is, or actually pinpoint exactly what the problem is. If you have discovered the problem, then you can have the solution to the problem. Number one, if you know you can deal with it by yourself, how can you deal with it by yourself? Either by compromising, either by changing things, changing a lifestyle, or talking about it, or you may want to go professional and ask for professional help. If your spouse is actually experiencing a medical issue, now this is a very sensitive area where men are very, very sensitive. You may want to tread carefully. You want to gain the trust of your husband, and you want to deal with this problem together. Don't make it look as if, oh, it's your problem, it's your wahala. No, don't make it look like that, but make the problem a problem of the family and try to support him 110%. And while you're supporting him, please make it very private. Keep it as secretive, or keep it as private as possible. Don't tell anybody, because you don't want to go and expose or disgrace your husband. There's so many people out there who are having issues as well, where they are just covering and pretending and hiding their husband. So you may want to cover up your husband and make sure you guys go through the problem or go through the medical condition. When it comes to these things, most of them are actually treatable. Most of them are actually sorted when you handle it rightfully, when you handle it in the right way. Help him, support him, make him feel wanted, make him feel loved. Don't be a mother, be a wife. Initiate sex, take him out on a date. Who says you can't take him out on a date? Take him out on a date, book hotels, take him out on a weekend out, find childcare for the children, change your lingerie, change your outfits, change the way you dress. If you know you're dressing more like a grandma, change it and dress properly so that you'll be attractive. Actually, do what you can. I always say, do what you can and let God do for you the things that you cannot do. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any question, and for my friend who sent me the message, I hope this video helps you, or help whoever that needs it, or help whoever that is going to need it in the future. I hope you find help, and I pray that God sustains your marriage. I pray that God heals your marriage. I pray that God look after your marriage and give you the wisdom, all that it takes to make you help or make your marriage work the way it's supposed to work. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be grateful, be positive, and be yourself. See you on my next video.